All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Upper Room Community Podcast. This is your host. I am your host, Raquel Sade. And welcome to the place where you come to elevate in what? Mindset, habit, and spirit. I'm happy to be back. I'm excited for today's episode. Don't mind the fit. I just want to get real cozy, real comfortable with y'all today. Truth be told, I didn't want to change my outfit. So you're getting this my John Jay hoodie. Didn't go to John Jay. I applied for grad school and I got denied, but it was on God's plan. And my No Evil Resides sweatbands. Just a regular average attire of a runaround Raquel. This is what I dress in. This is what I do. Anyways, I'm very excited for today's episode. If y'all haven't, please tune in to part 1, which was the last episode that was uploaded onto my page. And on the first episode, we spoke about one of the antidotes to distraction. And the first antidote was revelation. And if you want to recap on that, just go back to the previous episode. Today, we're going to talk about part 2 of the antidote to distraction, and it is, drum roll. Okay, I shouldn't do that. It's confidence. Who would have thought that confidence is needed in order to have revelation? And what is revelation? As we speak about it once again, a little recap. Revelation is the opening up of your understanding, a divine awakening, a divine understanding, revelation about who you are, who you're called to be, what you're called to do, who are others, who are they called to be, what are they called to do, and just helping others to get there. This episode is very important to me as a young Black woman from New York. I think that as we move on in this episode, you will see how important confidence is in order to just succeed in life, in order to thrive in life, in order to accomplish every single thing possible. You need to be confident. And I think this is really loud. Sorry, it was a little too loud for me, so I had to fix that. Sorry if it was a little too loud on y'all end in the beginning. But we live and we learn. Anywho, we're gonna discuss the importance of confidence, and how confidence is essential and it's essential need for success. And hopefully I don't say this entire episode. So let's get into it. For one, people may ask, because this series is the antidote to distraction. And me personally, I believe confidence is the perfect antidote to distraction, because a lot of times we avoid things because we're not confident in who we are or our ability in that situation. For an example, if you go back to the last episode, I discussed me being a real estate agent, and I avoided doing the work for such a long time. I just completely avoided it because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing and I don't want to mess up. But that's the process. And we're going to discuss that further on in this episode. But once you come in full confidence in who you are, then you'll have the confidence to pursue what you're meant to do. And that obviously counters distraction, because we can purposely distract ourselves from reality because we're not confident in ourselves to actually succeed in the reality that we're trying to escape from. And so confidence is so important to that. Confidence is important for community building. Confidence is important for people building. Confidence is important just for building structures and systems. It's across the board important in every single area of our lives. And it's important that we are able to instill confidence into others, and that through their confidence, they're able to instill confidence in other people, and will not automatically, but gradually have a better community, will have a better system running of individuals that have true confidence. So we're going to talk about the definition of confidence. Obviously, the definition of confidence is the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something, or to have firm trust. I personally believe that if you have true confidence, then you will have less fear. You will have less anxiety. You will have less worry. You won't be so conscious of messing up. You won't be so conscious of, oh, what if I do this wrong? Or what if this happens? Or what if that happens? And then that furthers distraction. You will continue to be in the state of being stagnant because you're so worried about what possibly could happen, how I possibly could mess up, this, that, and the third. And in all actuality, if you have firm trust in yourself and firm trust in your ability to accomplish a thing, you will not be scared to make mistakes. You will not be scared to mess up. Why? Because ability does not correlate to perfection. Just because you mess up does not mean you are not capable, does not mean you do not have the ability to do a thing because you mess up. In fact, messing up comes with it, and you will further your success in those stages of messing up in life. And that's what I'm learning now in life, that you can be confident and still mess up. And your confidence should not lack when you do mess up, because you're going to mess up. It's life. And messing up is not always a bad thing. There's a lot of lessons to be learned in messing up. I'm going to not correct that, but I'm going to further explain that, because I know as a youth, when I was a youth or when I was younger, and I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that. It's like, oh, we wanted to figure out life for ourselves. Like, we just wanted to do what we wanted to do. And the truth of the matter was, oh, that was your life, but I need to figure it out myself. Some people, when we're younger, we're so stubborn. We're so fixated on, I need to figure out my life for myself. And sometimes you just got to figure out life through your own mistakes. Now, a wise man can learn from the mistakes of others, and they can succeed off of other people's mistakes. But when I'm talking about making mistakes in your journey, I'm more so, the mistakes I'm speaking to are mistakes that can actually propel you. So, like, for an example, as a real estate agent, I'm gonna go back to that because that's what I do for a living. But as a real estate agent, right? Let's say one time I went to a client's home, and there's two entrances, and I saw a notice on the door, and I looked at the notice. I read the notice, and I didn't say anything to the owner of the home, of the property at that moment, right? And they asked me to go inside to go and do something. And so I went to go and do it. I came in, I left. And so then she calls me later like, oh, you didn't see the notice on the door? Like, because the buyer's agent came and saw the notice and told me about the notice, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh yeah, I did see the notice. Like, my apologies. And something so small like that, it's like, all right, now I know. You see something, say something. Don't assume that they know what's going on. Don't assume anything, because also too, you don't want the buyer to see, or the buyer's agent to see that notice that's on the door. It wasn't anything crazy or anything of that sort, but as a buyer's agent, you're looking for anything, you're looking for any reason to try to deduct the price or try to, negotiate more for your client, things of that nature. And so I just reminded myself, like, all right, that scenario, if I see something, say something, doesn't matter. Don't assume that they know. And so that one little small scenario gave me a key to life that I will apply as a real estate agent, that in the future will help me be more successful as an agent, because I made that small mistake. So that's what I mean. Like, life is not linear. And me and my friend talk about it all the time. It's kind of like stocks. Like, you might mess up in an area, but you're still treading higher. Like a stock, it will come up, it will have a little dip, but the trend is still coming up higher. The dip isn't messing with the trend unless it's a dramatic fall. But there are a lot of mistakes or errors that we make in life that still help us move forward with our trend, move upwards. And so I think that's an important part of life, and not letting mistakes deter your confidence or make you less confident in yourself. And I think that we should be confident in our mistakes. We should be confident in our errors. We should be confident in our weaknesses, because we know that understanding those weaknesses and working to better them is actually bettering us in the long run. And with that being said, that brings me to the correlation between ability and success. Because the more you believe in your capabilities, the more you believe in your ability to do a thing, the more successful you will actually be in life. And the less you believe in yourself and the less capable you think you are as an individual, the less successful you would be. But there's a direct correlation between ability and success. But just because you have messed up in a task or you've failed does not mean you lack the ability to succeed. For an example, if you're taking a test, I have a perfect example. When I was in college, I was taking a brain and behavior psychology class because I was a psych major. That class was mad hard. Mad hard. Like, yes, you study in college, but that class I had to study. Like, I really had to study for that class. And the first test, I think there was only about 3 tests in that class. And that put even more pressure on me. Because anybody who knows, if you only got 3 tests in the class, that means you only got 3 chances for your GPA to be where it needs to be. And so we only had 3 tests, and we had like some homework assignments and stuff like that. But in your classes, like certain things hold more weight to equal and 100%. So our test held a lot of weight. And if it's only 3 tests, those 3 tests is holding weight, heavy weight. Anyway, I took the first test and I flunked that test. It was so bad. I completely failed. And I was like, oh, okay, so I really got to take this class seriously. Not that I wasn't before, but I definitely could have done a lot better. Now, with that being said, I didn't say to myself that I wasn't capable. I didn't say to myself that I'm not good at it. I just said to myself, oh, I need to go harder. I need to study. So I failed the first test. And for the rest of the class, I studied. That class was a priority for me. And guess what? I left that class with a 90. How? Because every other test after that, I completely bodied. Like, I'm from New York. Bodied, is a good thing. I bodied that. I really did what I had to do on every single test after that. Had I told myself I'm not capable, had I told myself, oh, I'm not smart enough, had I told myself, oh, this is just not a good subject for me, I would have just been okay with the F. Not that it was an F, but I just would have been okay with that failing grade. And I probably would not have worked as hard to get the grades that I did get. And that showed my capability. The failure of the test did not show that I was not capable. It just showed that I needed to work harder. And I think that we need to, in life, and this is something that we have to teach the youth. This is something that we have to teach our younger selves, people coming up after us, because if this is something that we can learn from younger, I think we'll be able to succeed much more in life. Just because you fail at something does not mean you're not capable of producing something good from that. So we have to stop making the correlation between failure and capability. Just because you fail does not mean you're not capable. You're very much capable. Maybe you just need to work harder. Maybe you just need to tweak something. Maybe you need to tweak your routine. Maybe you need to tweak your approach. Maybe you need to do something different so that your capability is reflected on that task. The failure does not equal being incapable of something. And I think that it's very important for students to understand that, especially students that look like me, Black and brown students. I think it's so important for us to understand that we are capable, that we are sharp, that we are smart, that we are good looking, that we have it all together, and that we are very much capable of success. We are capable of walking out of school with great grades in math, in science, in technology, in engineering, in the STEM field. We are capable of doing these things. And the reason why I bring that up is because I'm going to be bringing up statistics in this podcast that I think are very important for today's youth, for people that are coming up after us. And so if you know anybody, that's younger, if you're working with youth, or if you are have any siblings, any younger siblings, or just a community member, I think that these statistics are important to help further the people coming up after us. Coming back to self-confidence, I think it's pretty obvious that children with a higher self-confidence are more likely to achieve success in various areas, including academics, and it's due to their belief in their abilities and willingness to take risk and persevere through challenges. It says confident children believe they can learn and succeed, leading to increased effort and engagement in their studies. Studies also show that self-confidence at the beginning of the school year predicts academic performance at the end of the year, even after controlling previous achievements. Confident students are better able to manage test-related stress, which can lead to higher test scores. And self-confidence can even improve students' memory and information retention, as confident learners are more likely to engage in effective study strategies. Confident children are more likely to persevere through difficulties and setbacks, viewing challenges as opportunities for growth. The last one says it all. That's essentially what I just was talking about. If you have true confidence in yourself, the setbacks will only make you persevere. The setbacks will only make you stronger. The setbacks will only make you work harder. And that's exactly what that test did for me. To be honest, I didn't walk into that class thinking that I could leave there with the A minus. I definitely did not think that. And especially when I did fail that test, however, I didn't walk out thinking that I'm going to fail the class either. I think me failing the test was very much necessary for me to stop playing with myself. And I think a lot of the times when we do fail at something, those are very much needed to help boost ourselves and help boost our confidence. A lot of challenges help to reveal who we truly are and what we're truly capable of. And I think that's exactly why in life, there's a lot of testing and trials. And I think that our best selves are formed in testing and in trials. And testing and trials are essential for our growth. And it is essential in building self-confidence and understanding who you truly are. So we see the benefits of having confidence and how that can help further you as a student, how that can help further you in life. It can help further you as an employee, as a boss, as a family member, as a boyfriend, as a girlfriend, as a husband, as a wife. Confidence is so important and it's so keen to be able to have that. But the question is, how do we even gain confidence? Confidence is something that needs to be built. Confidence is something that comes gradually as you continue to practice certain thoughts and certain habits. True. But I think confidence definitely comes from knowing who you are. And I think it's important in studying who you are. It's important in studying who you come from. And even if you don't come from a background that seems so positive or from a background that has greatness attached to it, there's still confidence can still be built in you by knowing who you are. And if you know me, you know where I'm going with this. I think that knowing who you are can be found in Genesis. And God is so dope because he knew the importance of confidence. He knew the importance of knowing who you are. And he knew that true success will come from that. And he knew it so much that even in the first book of the Bible, you are able to find who you are. And to me, I think that's super dope because confidence is truly important and it's essential to our growth as a people, especially as a people. A Black person, a person of color. I think it's so important that we have true confidence in knowing who we are. And you can find that right in Genesis 1 verse 1, baby. So we're going to go to Genesis 1 verse 26. I don't know how many times I've used this scripture, but I'm going to keep using it because it's just so good. And it's so important. And I'm only going to read like the first half of this verse. Genesis 1 verse 26 says, "Then God said, let us," the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, that's us, "let us make man in our image according to our likeness." God said, let us make man. Let him make you and me according to his image and according to his likeness. Not according to in his image. We are made in the image of God, and we are made after the likeness of God. So if you can find out who you are, you should find out the likeness of God. Who is God? God is the King of Kings. God is a system builder. He built the solar system. He built the ecosystem. He built the water system from rain coming down and evaporation and all of those things. He built that whole system in and of itself. He built the system that keeps this world running. He built the system that is essential, the sun and the moon. That in and of itself is a system. He's built these systems. He created us. He's a creator. That's who God is. God is a ruler. He is a king. He has authority. He has power. He also made us in that image. He also made us according to that likeness. We too have power. We too are able to rule and have dominion, as I discussed in the last episode. Let's discuss more attributes of God. God is whole. God is pure. God is perfect. God does not lack. God has everything under the face of this earth. He owns it all. All of these things are great attributes that we are made after. We are made after the likeness of God. We have everything that we need. Everything that we need, he supplied it all. We have it. He created us knowing. First, he created the environment before he even created us. So he planted us in a place that we have every single thing that we need. Every resource we need, we have. These are all important attributes to who God is, and not only to who God is, but to who we are, because he made us according to that image and according to that likeness. And I think that, me personally, it is important to raise up your child, raise up yourself, raise up your community in knowing these attributes and knowing these things. Because if you are growing up knowing that you are royalty, if you're growing up knowing that you are a king and a queen, that you are a ruler, that you have authority, that you have power, that everything you need you have, that there is no lack in you, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that you are smart and you are bright, if you know that you are a system builder, if you know that you are a person that can create structure and can invent because you are a creator, if you know all of these things, who's telling you what? Who's telling you otherwise? Nobody can tell me nothing about myself, because I read it all in the book. I read it all in the Bible daily. And when my confidence was low, because I definitely had low confidence when I was younger and coming up in the years, my confidence continued to build over the years, knowing who God sees me as. And you come to know who he sees you as and who you are as you continue to read your word. I'm going to get into that. But first, because I'm going to get into something, because I think it's, as a Black person and as Black people, I truly 100% believe that we need to become friends with the Bible. I really believe it. If you look at our Jewish counterparts, our Jewish brothers and sisters, the book of Joshua, which is the first book outside of the Torah, which is the books that Moses wrote, Genesis, Numbers, Exodus, Deuteronomy, and Leviticus. Those are the 5 books that the Jewish people study. They study hard. The book of Joshua says, the book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, that you should do all that is written in it. You should do according to all that is written in it, that you should meditate on the word day and night. And by doing that, you will make your way prosperous and you will have good success. This book of the law that they were discussing was Numbers, Deuteronomy, Leviticus, Exodus, Genesis. Those are the 5 books of the Torah. Those books shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate on it. You should think about it day and night. When you wake up, you should think about it. When you go to sleep, you should think about it. You should do every single thing that is in it. And when you do those things, when you think about it, when you meditate on it, and when you do it, you will be successful and you will be prosperous. What else do you want in life? I'm sorry. What else do you want in life? And that's what I be trying to explain to people. I'm going off on a tangent right now, but that's what I be trying to explain to people, because people come and they be like, oh, Like talk about Christianity, talk about God or things of this nature, talk about like, how we're missing out on life or there's so many restrictions to it, this, that, and the third. If somebody came to you and said, look, this is a book, because we so big on writing books nowadays, and people, we have our New York bestsellers, New York Times bestsellers. We have our different books and different methods and different ways that we read in order to be successful. If somebody came to you and told you, look, I'm going to give you this book and it's guaranteed success. If you do according to everything that this book says, you will 100% guarantee you will have success. If you do it all, you will have success. It's proven that you will have success. Would you not take that book? Would you not take that book? I would take the book. And the book is the Bible. It's said it in there. And if you look at your Jewish brothers and sisters, they have ownership. They own the league. They own the music labels. They have ownership in every industry that we can think of. They have ownership in it. They own our homes. They own their apartments. They own a whole bunch of stuff. And regardless of how you may feel about these individuals, regardless of how you may feel about all the political things that are going on, war, whatever, I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just talking about the basics. Everyone will say that they have success. How they got there, they follow those 5 books of the Bible. That's all I'm sticking to right now. Please leave it at that. All I'm trying to say is they stick to them 5 books. And we have more than that. And we have more freedom because we were released from the law of the first 5 books. The law was fulfilled through Christ Jesus. So we have the whole entire Bible. How much more successful should we be as a people? The reason why I bring that up as a Black woman and as a Black person is because so many people believe, and I understand it and I get it, because of slavery and colonization and things of that nature. So many people believe that Christianity is the white man's religion. So many people, and let me be clear as well, that it is a relationship. Religion, relationship, it is an inward relationship with the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Anyway, people believe Christianity is a white man's religion. It was given to us by the white man and different things of that nature. That it is an oppressive religion, etc., etc., etc. And what I will say to that is, the reason why I will not agree to that, it is a white man's religion. For one, as everybody knows, the geographical location of the Bible, Africa is definitely in it. Africa is definitely included, as well as obviously the Middle East. Besides that, what Bible were our ancestors reading? I would like everybody to figure that out. I would like everybody to really look it up and figure out what Bible were our ancestors reading as slaves, because they were not reading the same Bible we were reading. The slave Bible, 90% of the Old Testament was taken out of the slave Bible. 50% of the New Testament was omitted. 90% of the Old Testament was omitted from the Bible to create the slave Bible. And 50% of the New Testament was omitted to create the slave Bible. That is insane. That is literally insane. And do you know why? Because the Bible is strong against oppression. The Bible stands for liberty of its people. The Bible stands for prosperity. The Bible stands for living prosperous lives, for living in freedom. The Bible stands for all of those things. And so for you or whoever it is to come and say, I don't follow it because it's the right white man's religion and it helped to perpetuate our slavery or our bondage and things of that nature. I get it and I understand it. But let's understand that it was not the word of God that did that, but it was the failure of man. And it's evident in the Bible that our ancestors were reading while they were slaves. They were not reading the same Bible that we are reading today. had they read that, and we know obviously why they took it out, because they were afraid of rebellion. They were afraid that the slaves will rebel, that the slaves will come to know the truth, and they manipulated them on a lie. And so that's what I constantly tell people, is that Christianity, that was not, that was the adversary. That was a demonic work. That was not, had anything to do with God. That was demonic what was done. What we have now is access to the truth. We have access to the truth. And I'm sorry, I'm going to go off on one other tangent again. Give me a second. All right. So in Luke 4:18, I'm going to read that, and you tell me if you think this was in the slave Bible. Jesus comes and says, and this is from the book of Isaiah, actually. He read from the book of Isaiah. I think it's Isaiah 61, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's Isaiah 61 or Isaiah 49, one of the two. But Jesus said in the New Testament, Luke 4, verse 18, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor." The word gospel means the good news. To preach the good news to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, to recover the sight of the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed, and to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord. The last verse, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord, that is the year of Jubilee. The year of Jubilee was what Jesus was referring to in the last verse when he said to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord. And let me just explain. The year of Jubilee is an Old Testament tradition or a law or a year. It's a period of forgiveness, restoration, and renewal. And it occurred every 50 years. So let's see. So it was a time for restoration. Land that had been sold or mortgaged returned to its original owners. Freedom from slaves and bonded laborers. They were free. Forgiveness from debt. Your debt were forgiven. And rest. The land rested from cultivation. The year of Jubilee aimed to prevent cycles of poverty and ensure social and economic equality. Hey man, to me, it sounds like Jesus would be for people like us. To me, it sounds like this is not a white man's religion. To me, Luke 4 and the book of Isaiah, a lot of those things in the book of Isaiah were completely omitted from the slave Bible. And I bring that up to say, I think there's so much that we can benefit as a people if we truly come to know who we are. And I'm going to say, I believe who we are. We can find it in the Bible from the front to the back, from Genesis to Revelations. You will find all you need to know, and your confidence will fully be built in that, in reading the Bible, in knowing the truth and studying it and fully knowing who you are as a person. Because that little piece alone, just those 4 verses that were read in Luke 4 from two verses, Luke 4 verse 18 and 19, you're going to tell me that wasn't a powerful little bit? Like, stop playing. Anyway, the next verse I wanted to speak to before I went off on a tangent was Isaiah 82 verse 6. This also is speaking to having confidence and knowing who we are as a people and operating through that confidence. Isaiah 82 verse 6 says, "I said, you are gods," God's lowercase g, "you are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High." Again, we are children of the Most High. A lot of people, and in our culture, it's unfortunate, a lot of people look down on Nepo babies. A lot of people look down on people that have come from successful backgrounds. For an example, the other day I was on Instagram and I saw that Ice Cube's son, somebody commented on his page and said, "Nepo baby." And he replied and he was like, "Bro, telling me that my life is easy is not an insult." And I thought that was such a perfect response, because there's something about our culture that tells us that, be coming from something good is such a wrong thing. There's so many people that, because I'm from Mount Vernon, New York, and you have real hood people, you have people that come from low middle class, you have people that come from middle class, you got people that come from 2-parent households. I know a good amount of people that came from 2-parent households and came from a good family, but now in our grown age, they outside, they in the streets, they gangbangers. Why? Because there's something in our culture, there's something in who we are, in our image, that people are ashamed of coming from good families. And this is something that is sad. This is something that needs to be dismantled. And our image as a people, it needs a reboot. It needs a reboot, because if that was not a glorified image, if that was not an image that was not frowned upon in our communities, there wouldn't be so many people coming from good homes and running to the streets. So I bring that up to say, in that verse, it says, you are God's, lowercase g, children of the Most High. I'm a child of God. That is the biggest Nepo baby you could, you feel me? Knowing who you come from is so important, and having and understanding, again, who I spoke to, of being made in the image of God and who God even is, that is so confident. But the first part said, you are God's. The word God is a title. The word God is a title. The word in that verse meant a judge or a ruler. And so if we can fully come to the understanding that we are rulers, that we are judges, and that we are children of the Most High God, then we will truly have confidence in our lives, and we will not be distracted. We will not be staying stuck. We will pursue what we are meant to pursue, because we will have full confidence in knowing who we are, and knowing that at the end of it all, we will have true success. That's just me. But I think our image and what we portray as a community and as a people holds us back so much. And that prime example is by that person calling Ice Cube's son a Nepo baby. And it's proven by a lot of people that, and I saw another video earlier today, a football player, I don't remember his name, I'm not really good with sports, well, the name of people that play sports, but he was talking about how his son is a rapper, and his son be rapping the craziest lyrics, whatever, and he be like, he was like, bro, you grew up in a 20,000 square foot home in a gated community. Again, it goes back to image. We have an issue with image. I think true confidence comes from knowing who you are and having the image. If we knew that we were made in the image of God, bro, like, we would not be stooping ourselves down. This man had a career, had a successful career, gained money, gained success in all these things, had children. They also too came from success, came from money, came from a good environment. And he still, because he's a black man out here on the streets rapping about drill and all of these things that he never lived before, because there's a certain image that is glorified in our community, and it needs to stop. And it is, as since we have social media, because I do believe that hip hop is, or what hip hop has become, has created a huge deficit in our community, and it has created a huge problem in our community. But since social media pushes these images so much more, it's only going to continue to get worse. Why? Because we're seeing the rappers, we're seeing the fast money, and this is all a facade, it's all an image. These rappers are not making as much money as we think they are. That's a whole nother topic for another day, whatever. And also with sports, there's nothing wrong with us playing sports. But if that's all we're seeing is rapping, drug dealing, and sports, that's all we're going to have confidence in ourselves to become. And it's the same reason why these people from good homes are feeling ashamed from being from a good home. And then they're going to the streets and trying to perpetuate this image to build their confidence. But if we had a true understanding of imagery, that we're not just drug dealers, that we're not just ball players, that we're not just rappers, we would have confidence in ourselves in other areas in life. I speak to that because this is a statistic from the academic year 2015 to 2016. And this is the amount of STEM bachelor degrees, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. STEM bachelor degrees, this is a total percentage by race of people who have graduated college with a bachelor's in STEM. And the obvious, and it's so obvious, it's things that we know already, but it's so important to speak about. Asians, 33% of Asian people have graduated with a bachelor's degree in STEM in 2015 to 2016 academic year. The next higher after that was biracial people, like people of two or more races, which was 20%. 18% of were white people that have graduated with a STEM degree. 18%. Next after that, 15%, which is Hispanics and Pacific Islanders, and they came after that. 14% were American Indians. And last and least in this statistic, because they're last, are Black people. Only 12% of Black people have graduated with a bachelor's degree in STEM. Now, hear that statistic, only 12% of Black people. Now we're going to look at the statistic for people that play in the NBA. 70% of African Americans are in the NBA. 17.5% of white people are in the NBA. 2.2% of Latino, 0.2% Asian, and 9% of multiracial people. One more statistic. 1 in every 20 Black men over the age of 18 is in a state or federal prison, compared to 1 in every 180 white men. Now, I wanted to give the statistic of the prison breakdown. Obviously, there's so much that ties into that, but y'all know what I'm talking about today. But I also wanted to give the statistics for STEM graduates as well as the MBA, because imagery is important. Confidence comes from self-image. Confidence also comes from knowing and seeing somebody else that was capable of doing it. Builds your confidence. We also get less high school diplomas. We also are treading lowly in these areas when it comes to academic success. And I think that is important because that ties in with imagery and self-confidence. If, of course, we have high confidence in sports, because it is okay to be confident in playing sports. We have become comfortable with that. And therefore, we are super confident when it comes to us playing sports, because that is all we see. That is all we see. And of course, the more you see it, the more normal it has become. Again, there's nothing wrong with playing sports, but the number of people that are actually going to be a starting basketball player in the NBA, the number of people that are actually going to make it to the NBA is so slim compared to the amount of people that can actually be successful in getting a STEM degree in college. Not saying college is the only way. I don't believe college is the only way, because we have trades. We can be successful in trade. We can be successful in any career or any talent that you have and that you are actively pursuing. But I think it's important for us to dominate in academic success, because once there is more representation, and when I speak on representation, we do not need to depend on DEI. We do not need to depend on somebody else giving us a handout. What we can depend on is our own ability to succeed. That is another argument for a different day. However, I don't believe that our success is dependent on someone else giving us a handout. I think our success is dependent on our own ability when it comes to academics and when it comes to success in the corporate field or in the real world when it comes to having a career and having a job. That is what I'm going to believe, and that's what I'm going to stand on, because I think that counters a victim mentality. Not saying every person that believes in DEI and things of that nature are a victim or think with the victim mentality. But what I am saying is when I put my own capabilities onto myself and make it my own responsibility, that in turn fights the victim mindset and mentality that can keep me looking at external sources rather than me looking introspectively and saying I can do much better. I can apply myself much harder in this area, in this topic, whatever it may be. But if we have representation of individuals in STEM, of individuals succeeding in life in these areas, in these categories, we will be more confident as a people to pursue those areas. I think that our numbers are low because we are not in environments that prioritize academic success, that prioritize academic confidence, that prioritize these things. If you look at an Asian culture, that is very much prioritized. Why is it that their numbers are so low in sports? Because they do not prioritize sports. I'm not saying that you cannot play sports. I think that sports can also be a priority in your life if you want it to be so. But I am saying that academic success and just success in general, when it comes to growing as a student, as a Black student, I think needs to be prioritized more in our communities. It needs to be prioritized more in our households, and it should not be frowned upon. And that is something that we have to teach our children, because there's no way that a child should be going to school and not feeling confident in getting good grades, or not feeling confident in the fact that they are not a street dude, or that they're not out here fighting, defending themselves, or things of that nature. We should be confident in the fact that we are not a struggle bus. And same thing applies when it comes to prison. Of course, there's a whole bunch of different factors that tie into that. But what I'm speaking on right now today is what we can do for ourselves, right? If we no longer continue to normalize the fast cash, the fast lifestyle, glamorizing crime, glamorizing scamming, because I'm from New York and scamming is heavily glorified. It is heavily normalized in New York. Glorifying these certain lifestyles, the rap lifestyles, the fast money, the flashing, the cash lifestyles, making the, you feel me, doing all of those things. I think that less people would end up in prison if we can control our image as a people. That's all I'm saying. I do believe that less people can go to prison if we control the narrative on how we perceive ourselves as Black people. I 100% agree to that. And if you don't agree to that, that's a whole different story. It is what it is. But I full on believe that if we take ownership of our image and that we actively work towards changing that image as a people and not normalizing these things that are the bane of our existence, then we will be better off as a people. And in turn, we will have more confidence. And having more confidence in self, we will not be distracted by our lack of confidence. We will not be distracted by fear. We will not be distracted by peer pressure. We will not be distracted by, but what will this person think? What will that person think? We will not be distracted by, but the fast cash. We will not be distracted by these images. All these things play a role in our success as a people. And I would love to go on and on and on with y'all, but my camera's overheating. I've been talking to y'all for quite some time now, and I'm happy that y'all are able to listen. If y'all have any questions, if y'all have anything that you would like to discuss, please comment below. Let me know what you think. I would love to talk to y'all about it. But again, the raise in confidence, the more we're able to pursue greatness, the less distracted we will be. Please, please, please like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, share with someone you love, share with someone you just got in an argument with, share with everybody. Let everybody know. Let everybody see this episode. I really love y'all to pieces. And I will see y'all on the next episode of the Upper Room Community Podcast. Love you guys.